Give me 12 minutes and I'll save you 5 years of retirement mistakes. Sounds bold, right?
But here's the truth. Most retirees don't fail because of bad investments or bad luck. They fail because of small, avoidable choices that quietly build up over time, until one day they wake up and realize they've lost control. So if you're retired or close to it, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see retirement differently. You'll start thinking like the people who get it right, the ones who live with peace, not panic. Let's begin with the first mistake that quietly destroys retirement plans: living without a plan for the in-between years. You know that phase after the excitement of retirement fades, when the travel, the parties, and the finally free feelings start to slow down? That's where most people lose direction. They wake up late, scroll on their phone, maybe go for a walk, but deep down, they start asking, what now? The problem isn't boredom, it's lack of structure. Without a plan, retirees drift, and drifting often leads to overspending, poor health routines, and emotional lows that affect decision-making. You don't need a military schedule, but you do need purpose. Volunteer, mentor, learn, build something meaningful that keeps your brain alive. The retirees who age gracefully are the ones who never stop having a reason to get up in the morning. The second mistake that costs retirees years of stress: ignoring the emotional side of money. Most people think retirement is about numbers, how much you have, where you invest, how long it'll last. But let's be honest, retirement is more emotional than mathematical. You've worked your whole life saving, building, sacrificing. Suddenly, you're told to spend it, and that feels wrong. So you hesitate. You overthink every dollar. You start living in fear of running out. Here's the irony. That fear makes you waste your best years. You spend your 60s and 70s worrying instead of living. The key? Shift your mindset. The goal isn't to die with the most money. It's to live with the most peace. Build a system that gives you predictable income, a mix of investments, pensions, or annuities that pay you consistently. Because when your income feels reliable, your mind feels calm.
And now, the third mistake: underestimating healthcare costs and overestimating your health. This one's huge. Most retirees assume they'll be fine because they feel fine today. But healthcare costs rise faster than inflation, and one unexpected illness can erase years of savings. What's worse, many retirees don't plan for long-term care, and when it hits hard. Here's what wise retirees do differently. They accept reality early. They budget for health insurance, consider supplemental coverage, and even plan for assisted living options while they're still independent. Because the best time to make medical decisions is when you're still healthy. So here's your quick reality check. Retirement isn't about coasting, it's about adjusting. Every stage, from the excitement to the quiet years, brings new decisions, and the retirees who stay ahead are the ones who prepare for those shifts before they happen. In the next part, we'll dive into 3 more mistakes that are even more subtle, but far more dangerous. They're the ones that make retirees look fine on the outside, while their financial stability quietly crumbles inside. Let's continue. Because the next few mistakes are the ones that don't look dangerous at first, until they quietly steal your financial freedom, one small decision at a time. The fourth mistake retirees make is helping their adult children too much. This one is emotional. You love your kids. You've watched them grow, struggle, and build their lives. And when they call asking for just a little help, it's hard to say no. But here's the painful truth. Every dollar you give your kids today is $1 that your future self might desperately need later. You worked decades to build financial security. Don't give it away because of guilt or pressure. Helping is fine, but enabling is dangerous. You're not doing them a favor by rescuing them from every problem. You're teaching them dependency. The happiest retirees I've seen, they support their kids with wisdom, not just money. They share advice, mentorship, and sometimes small planned gifts, never emotional bailouts. The fifth mistake that costs retirees years of regret is not understanding how taxes change in retirement. Here's what most people don't realize. Your tax situation doesn't disappear when you retire. It gets trickier. Many retirees withdraw from their savings the wrong way. They take from taxable accounts first, delay Roth withdrawals, or forget how Social Security benefits are taxed. The result? Thousands of dollars lost every year, simply because of poor withdrawal planning.
Taxes don't retire when you do. A smart retiree learns how to use tax-efficient strategies, like Roth conversions during low-income years, or spreading withdrawals across accounts to stay in lower brackets. It's not about avoiding taxes, it's about controlling when and how much you pay. Because when you manage your taxes well, you give yourself years of extra financial breathing room. Now, the sixth mistake is one that doesn't get enough attention: staying too conservative with your money. After decades of saving, most retirees shift into full protection mode. They move everything into bonds, CDs, and low-risk funds because the idea of losing money feels unbearable. And while that sounds safe, it's actually risky in a different way. You start losing to inflation. If your money grows slower than your expenses, your retirement slowly erodes. The world doesn't stop changing when you retire. Costs rise, markets move, and your savings need to adapt. That doesn't mean gambling with your investments. It means balance. Keep some growth-oriented assets in your portfolio, even if it's just a small percentage. It's your shield against the silent killer, inflation. Think about it like this. Your retirement is a 25 or 30-year journey. You wouldn't drive cross-country on half a tank of gas, right? So don't enter retirement with a portfolio that runs out of energy halfway through. So far, we've covered 6 major mistakes, from emotional spending to over-helping your kids, from tax traps to being too cautious. But the next ones, they're deeper. They're not about money. They're about mindset. They're the mistakes that make people feel unfulfilled, restless, and even regretful, no matter how much they've saved. And once you understand them, you'll realize why money alone isn't the solution to a happy retirement. Clarity is. Now let's talk about the final and most overlooked mistakes, the ones that have nothing to do with your bank account and everything to do with how you live. The 7th mistake retirees make is holding on to their old identity. For 30 or 40 years, your job defined you. You had a title, a purpose, a reason people needed you. Then, one day, it's gone. And suddenly, you're not the manager, or the teacher, or the business owner. You're just retired. That's when the quiet identity crisis begins. You start missing the structure, the recognition, even the stress, because it gave your life shape. The key is to rebuild your identity before you lose it completely. You may be retired from your job, but you're not retired from life. Find something new that gives you meaning, mentorship, part-time consulting, volunteering, or even learning a new skill. The happiest retirees I've seen aren't the ones who stop working. They're the ones who start creating again. The 8th mistake that costs retirees years of happiness is surrounding themselves with the wrong people. Your environment shapes your mindset. If you spend time with people who constantly complain about their health, the economy, or the good old days, you start seeing life through that same negative lens. But spend time with people who stay curious, active, and open-minded, and you start feeling younger, even as you age. The best retirees I've seen treat their social life like a garden. They plant friendships that grow positivity and cut out weeds that drain energy. Because retirement should be the time when you protect your peace like a treasure.
And finally, the ninth mistake, believing that retirement means the end. So many people think retirement is the finish line, the final chapter. But here's the truth. It's not the end of the book. It's a brand new volume. The rules change, but the story continues. The retirees who struggle are the ones who stop dreaming, stop learning, stop growing. They think they've already lived their best years. But the ones who thrive, they keep reinventing themselves. They travel differently, love differently, even spend differently, because they realize life after work is still life. Here's what I want you to remember. The difference between a peaceful retirement and a stressful one rarely comes down to money. It comes down to awareness. If you avoid these 9 mistakes, if you protect your mindset, your habits, your health, and your peace, your retirement won't just last longer, it'll feel better. So, before you go, take a few seconds to think about this question. If you could go back in time and give your younger self one piece of retirement advice, what would it be? Because the answer to that question, that one sentence, might just save someone else 5 years of regret.
Thank you for watching. And if this video helped you think differently about retirement, consider subscribing and sharing it with someone who needs it. You never know. 12 minutes of wisdom today could save someone years of mistakes tomorrow.